What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jobbers and Goons, and today we have a massive kind of Marvel vs. DC Street Tier Battle Royale. This is a sponsored video, and with me today to talk about it is my boy GB. If you want to say what up.
Yo, what up?
So, me and GB have done a lot of past work with pretty much all these characters, so I thought it'd be fun to bring them along. Just to talk about how this goes down. This will be real simple editing as it's a battle royale. I hope you guys sit back, enjoy, and run the likes up if you love content like this. And if you want to sponsor a similar video, hit me up to talk business. But getting that out the way, let me lay the ground rules and let me list the characters. So, ground rules. They can't use powers unique to them. For example, Spider-Man can't use spider webs. That would be considered a weapon or power. So things like that, healing factors and stuff won't matter. However, things like their physicality and what they're physically capable of still counts. With that out the way, we're going to be dropping them in an arena, forest, whatever you want to call it, and they all have to take each other down through hand-to-hand combat. So how does this go? Let me read the characters to you guys, and then me and GB will get right into the breakdown of how we think this plays out. So there's Green Goblin, Red Skull, Kraven the Hunter, Punisher, and no, Punisher won't have the Beast power, obviously. Bronze Tiger, Ra's al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul, whichever your preference, Kingpin, Spider-Man, Black Panther, Bane, Deathstroke, Captain America, and Batman. Now, with the characters announced and out of the way, I'll probably have them flash across the screen as I'm talking about them. GB, who do you think is dead in the water off rip? We kind of agree on this from our preliminary talks, but I want to get your take.
Dead in the water off rip probably gonna be like hardcore villains like Red Skull. I don't think anybody's letting a Nazi rock. So he probably goes out first.
And
Other
he's
than
kind of
that,
a
I
weird
can't really
fighter,
think much.
too. Like, he's never been crazy. He usually gets run off the block. Like, he avoided Kingpin entirely. It's tough for him, I'd say, especially without gear or anything or prep.
Yeah, he's just not much of a fighter anyway.
I know on your list you think Kingpin and Bane are the next to get eliminated, which I disagreed with. I think they last a little longer due to what they bring to the table without gear and stuff. But I found your reasoning interesting. Let's start with Bane.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think Bane's an early target? This is one. I had Bane in my top 6. So I want to hear your take.
I mean, Bane is he's like 6'8" or 6'9", almost 400 pounds. Like, if you're talking about just physicality, like he'd be the biggest target there. Or if you're talking about more like weight, then Kingpin would be the biggest target. These are two characters that, because of their size, like they're not characters you want to stick around long. Because the longer this fight gets drawn out, the more of a problem it becomes for smaller fighters. So I just think that logically, given the intelligence, like the battle IQ of a lot of these guys that are in this fight, like T'Challa, Deathstroke, Batman, Captain America, I think they all just target these big dudes first and they take them out.
I can see that happening. I don't want people to think this is any kind of slight towards what they're capable of. In fact, this would be so like a byproduct of how dangerous they are, and like kind of piggybacking on what he said about the weight issue. The longer this goes on, the problem with keeping these two around, or like why fighters probably wouldn't go for it, because he kind of changed my mind on this in the preliminary talk. It's like Kingpin and Bane can both one-shot pretty much anyone here with physical strikes. And that's very important because the further we go into the fight, the further we go into the battle, that one-shot ability is going to increase because people get tired, your chin starts to deplete, fatigue will set in. It could definitely be a problem for them. So I could personally see both of them getting taken out early just off what they bring to the table. and how much of a target they make themselves with their fighting style, because Kingpin's a loud and proud fighter. He's more skilled than people give him credit for, but he's definitely throwing people around, being a weight bully, and it's going to attract a lot of attention, especially from heroes who have a past dealings with him. So these two are probably in trouble just for being powerhouses. Next on our list to talk about is Green Goblin, Ra's al Ghul. I had Craven the Hunter in this tier as well of people that will probably get dropped. The thing with Ra's is everybody knows him on the DC side. Very dangerous, however, the gas tank's going to be a problem. Like, even historically, when Batman would press him, the gas tank would become an issue with Ra's, where he's like, okay, I got to cheat, or I got to find a different way to get out of this. Very skilled, very dangerous, but he's also a supervillain that everybody knows will try to cheap shot you. And I actually think his approach to fights, how dangerous he is, makes him incredibly likely to get taken out by one of the heroes, probably earlier, even ganged up on. Green Goblin, the reason I said he would struggle later into this is because he's really one that relies on his tech, his ferocity, and the prep time. He is a decent fighter. His physicality is fantastic. However, that's not going to be enough in a room full of characters that have dealt with that before on an even scarier scale. Craven, the reason I had him kind of lower is really, like, on paper, he has the physicality to match up with anyone. He is a capable combatant. He knows a bunch of interesting moves, specifically targeting the nerves. So that would make him dangerous, but he doesn't have heart. He doesn't have grit, and he won't have access to the things that make him dangerous as a hunter. In just a brawler scenario, he's going to get outdogged by a lot of people. And I'm going to let GB weigh in on what he thinks about this three.
Raish just, I mean, if you're talking about like healing factor is not a thing. I don't know if Spider-Man's gonna have like his spider strength or whatever. Like, I don't know if that constitutes as like a power. Characters like that, like super soldier serums, like I'm not sure. But even if they did, it only carry them so far. If Raish doesn't have like his gear, like his swords and the labyrinth, whatever it is, that pool, whatever, I forgot what that thing is even called, to be honest.
Yeah, the Lazarus pit.
Yeah, the Lazarus pit. If he doesn't have that, I mean, like, this is a man that's like 8,000 years old coming in here getting his ass beat. I mean, there's really not much we can do for him. He's on life support. He's on life alert already. You got who else was it?
Green Goblin.
Green Goblin's a bum, straight up. He's straight up bum. Like, no glider, mega bum. Get him out of here. Craven.
No bombs.
Craven lately in comics does nothing but take L's. I mean, he's an L magnet. And the only argument you have for like classic Craven is that he's immortal. That doesn't qualify here. So he just gets his ass beat eventually. So I don't see him contending with like the bigger dogs in the fight, which we're gonna get to now.
Yeah, he's, like I said, and I will say we're giving Spider-Man his physicality. We're just not giving him like webs or anything like that, or even like adhesive, just because that's technically a power. But yeah, everybody here, for one reason or another, they just don't stack up to the late game players. Now, the next three we're going to talk about are Bronze Tiger, Spider-Man, and Punisher. And I let off with the last three, so I'll let GB weigh in here.
You said Spider-Man, Punisher, and who?
Bronze Tiger.
Bronze Tiger probably goes out first here. He has a lot of statements about him being one of the best hand-to-hand combatants in DC, but there's not a lot of showings. And Catman kind of one-shotted him. So people, oh my god, you killed Catman. He would have killed Catman if he didn't have 9 lives. Yeah, hold the L, don't care. So Catman one-shotted him. He needed medical assistance. So I don't see him really surviving here. Punisher probably goes out next because Punisher isn't really crafty in hand-to-hand combat. I mean, like, there have been instances where he could have beaten people in hand to hand, like Captain America, but he chose not to out of respect. But ultimately, he just hand to hand isn't his forte. Dude spends it in eternity getting beat up by a blind dude. So I mean, it is what it is. And who was the next guy? Spider Man.
Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think Spider Man checks out here too. Um, Somebody like anybody Cap tier, Batman tier, especially Deathstroke, T'Challa. All these guys should have enough martial arts knowledge to counter his physical advantages. So I don't see him just willy nilly like bopping people here. We saw what happened in Civil War, I believe it was, when Spider-Man not only had a better suit but had like prior knowledge on Cap's weaknesses and still was getting beat up and was getting his ribs cracked. So I don't see Spider-Man like going beyond this point.
Yeah, especially when he's gonna have to fight with different means, like he won't have his powers. That's a rough outing for him. Punisher, I kind of agree. The problem with Punisher is he's very skilled, as tough as it gets here. But Punisher uses his martial arts to set up other things, set up gunplay, set up his blade, set up what he prepped for, all these things. To go long-term brawls with these tier of fighters won't spell well for Punisher. And Bronze Tiger, I think his best statement slash feat is when we saw Jason Todd beat Shiva with a move she taught him to bring down her tier of fighters. And when he tried to use that shit on Bronze Tiger was like, that's ass. Like, that's not going to work on me. Definitely really good lore, all that, but he doesn't have enough in his favor to hang out in the long run in this caliber of fighting. So definitely brawls and all that. I see these characters checking out next. Now, the top four, I feel like isn't that controversial, and it really depends on how you take these characters or what you feel about them. But we'll get them out the way real quick. We have Black Panther, Captain America, Deathstroke, Batman. Me and GB actually pretty much agreed on these being the big four, even before we went back and forth. I'll give my reasoning for what makes each of these characters dangerous. Deathstroke doesn't give a fuck. He has the physical stats, even without his armor and everything, to keep up with everybody here. He has advanced physicality like some of the other characters, and skill-wise, he's as trained as anyone. The military his whole life has trained for characters like Batman and whatnot. Has trained with some of the elite assassins in DC. He's one of the best at what he does, and his ruthless nature and fighting style really helps him, as well as he has damn good stamina. I mean, he's a team buster. He's built to battle people for long durations of time. Captain America, he is literally built to fight everyone all the time, no matter what. 24/7, he'll keep going. Peak human capacity within Marvel, which is crazy. But on top of this, he's trained with the like Iron Fist, easily can go skill for skill with Shang-Chi, fights with Daredevil and all them. Pretty much all the big dogs in Marvel, when it comes to martial arts, Cap can hang with. And what makes him exceptionally dangerous here is his toughness. Cap has as much dog as anyone. He's as ruthless when it comes to just getting up and keep fighting. He might not be a killer like Deathstroke, but Cap will fight all day. So definitely got to give him props there. And then finally, for me, just talking about Batman. Batman is probably the most well-rounded character here. He has all the physical feats to put him in the same caliber as pretty much anyone else here in physicals. I mean, this is a character who represents the multiversal constant of trying to win no matter what. He's trained with all the top League of Assassins, all your favorite martial artists in DC. Batman's gotten the drop on before, and he's as tough as it gets. Even Darkseid, even gods respect how crazy he gets down, similar to Captain America. And his intelligent way of approaching fights, how he analyzes fights, and the fact that he can go toe for toe with anyone here makes him perhaps the most dangerous out of these four. And with my take out the way, I'm let GB weigh on what he thinks of these four. Did I mention T'Challa? T'Challa also one of the best fighters in martial arts. And Marvel has the physicality to match all
Oh,
these characters, and he has some unique to Wakanda. So he brings a little flavor to the table in terms of unique martial arts. Some might not be able to provide. And now I'll turn it over to GB.
he's a bum. Get him out of here.
That's
Anyway,
crazy.
look, no powers, T'Challa's getting packed up. No tech, T'Challa's getting packed up. You show me a time where T'Challa's beating a big dog with no powers and no tech, and I'll show you a comic that's not canon. Anyway, moving on. Captain America is a bum. Even with his powers, a bum. Y'all saw what Captain Krakoa did to him? That's the real
It's
Steve
another
Rogers.
cap.
But
I pulled up
that's the
another
real
cap. That's a
Steve
nothing.
Rogers. Yeah, the real Steve Rogers. Put Hydra Cap back in here, then we're gonna have a real fight on our hands. Captain Krakoa should have been in here from the jump. Captain America has been retconned out of existence in Marvel. Get him out of here. He's a bum. Gets his arm snapped by anybody in this fight. Gets beat up by anybody in this fight.
Yeah,
Batman,
shut up.
Batman, Batman has more dog in him. Deathstroke has more dog in him. At the end of the day, it's what it's going to come down to here is who fights better when they're exhausted. Who fights better when they're tired? Who have we seen go into the trenches and pull out the W? And there's only two fighters here that I've seen in comics consistently be exhausted in tough situations and still pull out the W with their bare hands. And it's Bruce Wayne and Deathstroke. That's it. It's going to come down to these two. And I think in the end, we've already seen in recent comics what happens when Deathstroke and Batman fight and they're exhausted. Batman usually ends up pulling out the W. So I got Batman winning overall. But Batman and Deathstroke have way more dog in them than Captain America. I'm sorry, Batman's not pulling up to a fight with nobody. It doesn't matter if it's another universe, Bruce Wayne. He is not getting his arm snapped in 3 seconds. I'm sorry, that is crazy. That's crazy
What
talk.
about his
That's
back?
crazy talk. Yo, that's Bane. That's why we got to take Bane out early. You know what Bane would have did? First of all, Bane was about to take out Cap's back in the crossover, and then the shield came in because it was plot armor. So
Plot
we know
armor,
what
a
was
hell of a
happening there.
throw. Sign that man to the
Yeah,
Dodgers. But nah,
yeah, that man.
so I think the only thing we disagree on, I do think Cap has that dog in him, especially if we're talking like longevity in a fight. However, I could see it being a case of like Cap fighting Batman and Deathstroke like cheap shots. Cap. Because like real shit, like I'm not saying Batman's slimy. Batman would rather deal with the threat he knows rather than a foreign threat, if that makes sense. Like Batman knows he can go blow for blow with Deathstroke. So
That's
those
why.
two
That's why I'm
likely
picking
would
them.
fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm. The reason I'm picking them ultimately, when I say they got more dog, I'm talking about they're willing to take the fight to places that Cap wouldn't want to go to normally. Like naturally in his mind, he's not. Cap's not going to go to places in his mind that Batman's willing to go, that Deathstroke's willing to go to. These are characters that are literally willing to. Like Captain America would never be able to sacrifice a universe for his own universe. Like he'd try his
He
best to
literally
save both
refused to,
universes.
actually. Well,
Yeah,
he
we
technically
saw that.
tried. No, I think he used the gauntlet to try to stop the incursion and it just broke. He wasn't trying to destroy the other universe.
Yeah, he at his core, he tries to always find the best solution for both. Batman will not hesitate to blow up another planet to save Gotham. Like he just won't. That's not what Batman's about. Batman's about saving what he feels is like more important and like mathematically like he calculates like what's more important. He will kick Captain America in his balls, bro. Like Captain America's balls are cooked. Captain America's balls are cooked. Deathstroke's kicking him in the balls. Batman's
Can we
kicking him
get
in the
that
balls. He's done.
timestamp from the Watchers when Cap's balls got cooked?
Yo, like that's crazy. It's over for him. He gets cooked on a regular basis anyway. But these are two dogs, so I don't see him surviving this fight much, if at
And then
all.
T'Challa. See, here's the thing for T'Challa, because people are gonna come in here repping the fuck out of T'Challa. Let me help y'all understand something. T'Challa had the misfortune of running up on Cap. Keep in mind, he got the drop on Cap. Like, Cap didn't know he was there. And T'Challa was scared fighting him because T'Challa mid-fight goes, "Oh my god, he's trying not to hurt me." Meanwhile, Black Panther's trying to fuck Cap up. And you take away gear and like healing factors and real power, America's getting that W. Because, and another thing Cap does is like how he can analyze fighting styles. Like, he knows how Panther fights. I ultimately, I keep getting stuck on the fact that Cap's probably going to end up fighting Batman when it's these three left, because I don't think T'Challa can take Cap, especially just no gear, nothing like that. I see Deathstroke like trying to cheap shot him, maybe Batman jumping in too. Fuck it, we ball. It's just Batman, from the logic standpoint of Batman and Deathstroke, Batman's going to want to fight Deathstroke over Cap. He doesn't know Cap as well, and he's like, okay, I know I can beat Deathstroke. And Deathstroke's probably going to feel the same way, but he's going to be more cheap about it. So, ultimately, those are my big three. Like, technically we had a big four with Cap, T'Challa, Steve, and then Batman. Or not Steve, I'm sorry, Deathstroke. If I were to say who I think wins, probably Batman. Probably, but I'd put Cap second, because the way Cap would come in second is if Deathstroke and Batman don't jump him. Cap can probably take, for me, Deathstroke in a 1v1. But I think we had a consensus on the top four. You think Batman takes it? I'm fine with that. I might slightly favor Cap. I could understand arguments for Deathstroke and Panther as well. And if you think Bane doesn't get one shot early, or like people try to take him out, maybe. But besides that, that's pretty much what we have to say about this street tier battle royale. Get in the comments section. Let us know who you think wins, how you think this plays out, who's your favorite, who you think sucks, all that. Let us know your input. Check out my Discord, where we hang out and we talk about battles all day. We talk about scaling all day. So come hang out. And yeah, anyways, thank you, GB, for hopping on for the collab. This was a fun video. And yeah, we'll see y'all later. Peace.